Hello everybody, Steve Politi and Mike Fensom, Darryl Slater from the Star Ledger. We're here at MetLife Stadium, a 24-13 victory for the New York Jets today. Pretty convincing effort offensively, defensively too, a couple stops late. Is it enough to save Rex Ryan's job? That's been the big story today.
That's the big point off this game. You know, can Rex Ryan save his job at 7-8 or 7? You know, now 7-8, maybe 7-9 or 8-8. And you know, there's a lot of question marks about that and about this team. Really, Geno Smith had a good game, but does that make up for the struggles that he had on the whole throughout the year? You know, what do you look at when you see this entire body of work, as these Jets fans did for the last time here in person today? You know, there's still a lot of question marks about this franchise, I think.
Two things about it. When you watch this team, I think Rex Ryan is right. The team is playing its best football now, and you know they're playing hard for this guy too. You have to admit that at this stage, considering they've got nothing to play for, that was a pretty good effort.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Chris Ivory said a couple of minutes ago that we saw the offense really kick into rhythm today in particular, and he said, we thought we played the same way in Carolina, just a couple of things didn't go their way. I mean, they did play hard in that game against the NFC South champs now. Yeah, they are playing hard for him, and it'll be interesting to see the way they go finish it off. I mean, this was a referendum a little bit on where he has this team mentally, and also the growth of a lot of the rookies. And you saw Geno play really well. You saw D play really well too.
No turnovers, no sacks, which I think is almost as big as no turnovers.
Right.
What were they doing? Could you see something differently offensively, or is this just a bad Browns team that they took advantage of?
I think it was probably a combination of both, but they were able to protect Geno Smith, which had been a huge thing, and make him feel comfortable. He was able to get out of the pocket too. Ran 7 times for 49 yards, able to get out of the pocket. He had the 17-yard touchdown run to clinch it. And Chris Ivory was one thing that Mike and I were just listening to Chris say. He thinks Geno Smith should run the ball more. He's a little hesitant to maybe run, and so that's a potential weapon for these guys that they haven't seen a lot this year. So he just looked more comfortable. He found David Nelson a couple times for touchdowns. So this is a kind of combination of the fact that they were playing a team that wasn't very good, and they really did. You saw the zest from this Jets team today that you want to see from a team whose coach is sort of on the hot seat. And who knows, maybe the decision's already been made about his future by John Idzik and Woody Johnson. But if it hasn't, then he certainly put a positive emphasis on the end of the season here.
Calvin Pace had a good line, said this we're looking at this as the AFC Championship game next week, and Miami's our Super Bowl. Do you think that these last 2 games will make a difference in deciding this for Rex? Is 8-8 that much different than 7-9?
I don't think so. I think that the playoffs were the one cutoff. That's gone now. But they are playing really well. And one thing we do know about the Jets is we were standing here week 1 wondering, some people thought this was going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL, maybe a 3-win, 4-win team. The last 2 weeks here, we've seen them beat teams that are clearly on that bottom level in the NFL. The Raiders and Browns are on the lower portion of the NFL power rankings, if you want to use that term. The Jets are not there. So this is not a team in the basement. Maybe they are taking steps forward, and if that's the case, Rex deserves to stay, the whole staff deserves to stay, and we can see what 2 years of consistency does for these guys.
We will know soon. Until then, Steve Politi, Mike Fensom, Darryl Slater signing off. Thanks for watching.